So you guys were one. I'm hearing a lot of you guys. You guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that. And when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So it's shorter. There you go. Crazycatlady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair use, educational, for education and entertainment purpose. Hi everybody, Martha here. So today, um, we mourn the loss of an actor that not a lot of us know of because he's mostly did animation works, but he did a lot of live action roles too. But the one that most people would know him for is the movie Up, and that is Ed Asner. Hopefully, I said his last name right. Um, and Up, he plays Carl, and other roles he has played of shows that I've watched. So you can find any movies that I've watched that he was in. Um, he played Hudson in Gargoyles. Um, and Spider-Man animated series, he played J. Jonah Jameson. And he also had roles in Frank Zoid. And that's basically it. All these live action ones have not watched, sadly. So, yep. I'm gonna talk about the movie Up in order to honor him. For those who have not seen the movie Up, it's about an an old man named Carl who had just recently lost his wife Ellie, and they were friends since they were children, and fell in love throughout the years. So we always talk about the first 10 minutes of this movie, how sad it is, and how like there's so much dialogue during it, but yet it still get its point across that both these two love each other, and they both have the same dream where they want to go to Paradise Falls, which is a real life place in South America, and they're not able to do it because of a lot of life events prevent them from doing it. And they also end up wanting to have a kid during these 10 minutes, but they're not able to do it because Ellie's not able to have a kid. And since this is only 10 minutes, they don't actually go into why she can't have a kid. And they also have the same exact hero, Charles Muntz, who is based off of a real life person. If you are into Disney historian like I am, you know that he is based off of a guy that was employed by his wife. Walt Disney, when he was young, before he made made himself made himself into the man we all know him as. He worked for a woman named worked for the Winklers. Charles Mintz, not Muntz. In real life, his last name was Mintz. I don't know why they changed it, but they changed it in the movie. So when they did get married, him and his wife, his wife name was Marla J. Winkler.
Please let me in.
No. All right.
He tried to. He took a lot of his employees and made him go and had them go over his company, and he did not start paying Walt Disney less. And Walt Disney got very angry, rightfully so, because of this reason, and quit and made his own the company that we know for today. We can look at him as a villain, but without him being what he did to Walt, would we have Walt where he is now? So yeah, the Winklers are the ones who made that made Felix the Cat. So yeah, and he's also the one that Disney lost all Olaf the Lucky Rabbit to. So now that you know that part of the history and what Charles Mont's based off of, let's get back to the movie. So we see both Ellie and Carl married, and we also see when he finally gets enough money to have them to go to their dream. Sadly, Ellie dies, and we see have them have the funeral, and how he's still grieving over his loss. And basically, this movie is basically him coming to terms with her death, because he is deciding, even because he ends up getting in trouble for hitting like his mailman. I think that's who it is. And he ends up like having to go to court over it, and they end up forcing him basically to go to a nursing home. So when he's about to get picked up by by the nurses, he decides to get balloons that he had, because when Ellie was alive, he and Ellie worked at a zoo, I think, that sell balloons, or they just sold balloons on the offhand, because I think it's because the way Ellie is dressed. So I don't know. Like I said, that 10 minutes is mostly just represent their lives. It doesn't really give details to stuff because it's only 10 minutes. So he ends up like using a bunch of balloons and floats away with his house. And also, yeah, a little Boy Scout kid named Russell was asking him to lead it, like take him places so he can get one of his badges. So somehow Russell stayed on the house, and when the house took off, Russell was still there. And even Carl, even though that Carl doesn't want him there, he still lets him in the house. And they both go to Paradise Falls. And we find out that he lands on the wrong side of the waterfall, because they were planning to see the waterfall part of it, because waterfalls are pretty. So yeah, and they both they both use like ropes to get to using the house to get to the other side of the canyon where the waterfall is. And on the way there, we bump into the bird, the probably prehistoric bird that Charles Muntz was looking for when he went to Paradise Falls to go and find proof that this bird exists. And he also gets ridiculed for it because he was they don't think that he found enough proof to prove that this bird was real. And even though it's kind of weird that he's still alive when Carl is an old man, I don't know. It just makes more sense for two old men to fight each other, I guess. So I don't know. Just find that kind of silly. So he bumps into also the dogs that that Charles Muntz uses to find the bird. And the bird's name is Kevin, even though the Kevin's a girl. So yeah. And Carl uses chocolate to lure the bird back. So we have a dog named Doug, and we also have a Rottweiler, a Bulldog, and a Doberman Pinscher with a very squeaky voice, chasing them. And when you first look at a Doberman, yes, you find them menacing because it's a Doberman. But then you hear it have a very squeaky voice. Yep, I think you're supposed to find it funny. And the reason why it has a squeaky voice is because these dogs can talk because of their collars. Allow them to talk, and its collar is malfunction, so it makes it squeak when it talks. So yeah. Anyway, they're
Oh, man, Master will not be pleased. We better tell him someone took the bird, right, Alpha?
No. Soon enough, the bird will be ours yet again. Find the scent, my compadres, and you too shall have much rewardings from Master for the toil factor you wage.
Hey, Alpha, I think there's something wrong with your collar. You must have bumped it.
Yeah, your voice sounds funny.
Beta, Gamma. Mayhaps you desire to... Squirrel! Mayhaps you desire to challenge the rank.
Doug ends up following him around, even though Carl doesn't want to follow around. Carl doesn't want really any of these three following around. He just wants to. It would have mourned Ellie in his own way, and he even mentions it to Carl because every time he talks, I don't know if Carl understands what's going on here, but because he was referring to the house as Ellie, and Russell ends up talking to Ellie. So yeah. And eventually, they end up being led back to Charles Muntz, because the three dogs that Permits capture them and take them back to Charles Muntz, and we find him showing a whole bunch of things that are throughout history. He has his own museum. He has even met Teddy Roosevelt, I think it is. So this does take back a long time ago, because that depends how long Teddy Roosevelt has been dead. So they end up having dinner, and this is when Charles ends up seeing Kevin on top of the house, and he sicks the dog, tries to get the bird so he can look great, even though those people who probably accused him of him being crazy are probably dead. So yeah. And basically he is trying to destroy this guy's house in order to get to Kevin and try to kill both Carl and Russell during this entire mission. And we also do have a little moment earlier on where Carl and Russell do connect over stuff, like how how he lost his wife, and also how Russell does not really have a great connection with his dad anymore, since his dad is working all the time. So they relate to that way, that neither of them can be close to their loved ones for different reasons. But yeah, that's a little cute. And so eventually, when Carl blows up on Russell and tells him to leave him alone, and tells him that I'm here to try to grieve over my wife, and Russell runs off from this, and he eventually realizes what he did was wrong. He gets Doug to help him save Kevin from being captured and taken back to be shown off and to the world. And Russell ends up helping him out, and we do have a whole bunch of jokes, like the dogs driving around in helicopters and being getting confused because Russell said squirrel. Um, so, and the way that Charles Muntz dies in this movie is pretty much how a lot of villains die. They fall. And there is not much balloons to hold him up. And eventually they get back back home by using the blimp that was there, and the house ends up being on the side it's supposed to be that it's on. So he ends up like him giving Russell his Boy Scout badge, and it ends up being the grape soda pan that Ellie gave to him gave to Carl when they were little. So I do like, and that's how the movie ends. It's very cute. It's very great, and it is something that both adults and kids can enjoy. I like animation movies nonetheless, but I've heard people who are not into both, like me, or not into many animation movies, said this movie is probably one of the most adult Pixar movies. So, what did I give this movie? I would give it a 9 out of 10. I've heard people also say that only the 10 minutes, like a lot of people always say the first 10 minutes are good, while the rest of it's not that as good as the first 10 minutes. I agree that both are actually the same. And only reason why they don't, because probably a lot of them probably don't finish watch the rest of the movie. But, yep, it is sad that one of the actors on this is sadly passed away. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review of this movie and this tribute to Ed Asner. So, I'll see you guys later. Like, favorite, and subscribe, and goodbye.